Greninja is everywhere in Great League, and today we're gonna dive together into Great League with the best team recommendation that I can give to you trainers around Greninja. I think that Toxapex is the best comrade for this Pokemon because not only it covers those fighters but also the poisons, and of course you get a lot of neutral coverage against the entire meta of Great League. Also Trevenant is gonna add in as a really nice closer, adding more coverage against the fighters, which is pretty nice, and can also go pretty neutral against the fairies, which is absolutely a nice scenario for this team. So let's see what we have here, because the Oxys might throw here the Psycho Boost, but as it seems they have no answer to my Pokemon that remain right here in the battle, so they will back out to start off the video with a huge win. Into the next one now, and Greninja will be up in front, but this time from our opponent. What I want to do here is to pressure a lot with my moves. I think that Toxapex can do pretty well on that factor with those poison jabs, and right after the brines are just gonna do cheap damage but still gonna get that shield out of that Greninja, because Greninja might be super good offensively but defensively it is still very fragile. I'm trying to get to another brine, however I cannot, which is a bummer. Perhaps if you have better IVs than I do over here, you can do much more work against the Greninja, but it's all up to you. Anyways, I know that I can tank one move while the second cannot be taken that easily. So yeah, I'm just gonna spend the early shield and then try to finish them off as soon as possible. And as it seems here at the back, they have the Ninetales, so they're getting a little bit too greedy here. But it makes a lot of sense because this Alola Ninetales is with a Powder Snow, and of course Dancing Gleam has to be thrown in order to do a lot of damage to my Pokemon. Taking advantage of that, I know that they cannot reach the Dancing Gleam after they bait here, so I will just overfarm a little bit more, expecting the switch right after, and as it seems they are having the Frostlass at the back, and my Trevenant has the energy advantage, and of course it's gonna fulfill its way to victory because we can easily farm down the remaining HP of the Ninetales. Into the next one now with the most horrible lead that you can get with Toxapex up in front against a Galarian Stunfisk. The other bad lead is Basidon, but it is kinda playable with Brine, but against Galarian Stunfisk you can't do anything. So let's see how interesting this team is gonna be, since we're getting hard counter not only up in front with the Galarian Stunfisk but also on the switch with our Greninja facing a fighter. So overall I think that we're having kind of a bad time here against this trainer, so it all depends on what they have as their third Pokemon. Trevenant is going in at the back now, the return with the Stunfisk, so the battle is definitely not over yet, and all you have to do is to stay in and go for those Shadow Balls. I'm expecting them to go for a shield, to be honest, at some point, but since they are having the shield disadvantage, I'm just gonna shield in return, and of course I can throw the Shadow Ball with ease. I'm thinking that they're gonna get to their next move on the fifth move that they're gonna go with, but still, as it seems, we're gonna get to the Seed Bomb, finish off Stunfisk, and right after it all depends on what they have at the back. It is gonna be Quagsire Trainer, so the battle is definitely not over yet. We're just gonna get here to the Seed Bomb, trying to get that shield out of play, and right after I will go for the CMP. Perhaps they are not gonna catch, so it was kind of an RNG win this one because they could easily catch, but still I decided to get straight to the move, and since they might have lost track of my energy, we are happy to get this outcome, since down goes the Quagsire in one shot, and Medicham will follow the same fate with those Shadow Claws. Into the next one now, after that huge victory that we just had with a Pelipper up in front, and yeah, Hurricane is still gonna hurt us, but still we're gonna emerge victorious because we're super bulky. So over here I think that Trevenant can also hard counter this Pokemon pretty nicely, because Registeel, whatever it throws at this point, will be hard resisted, and of course my Shadow Ball will do more than enough to put them at a critical condition. One more move before they throw their zap count, because I was in no mood to spend another shield, actually a shield in total for this battle, and now with the Pelipper returning I'm pretty glad because I'm having Toxapex tanking all that energy, and right now it all remains to see what they have at the back. It is gonna be Galarian Stunfisk, so right here going in with the Greninja means that we can take those shields out of play pretty easily. Since we can also tank one Rock Slide, I'm just gonna do that pretty early over here, and right after I'm gonna block whatever they throw, because on the double Rock Slide we cannot survive at all. So another Hydro Cannon is coming up, and even if they block here, we still have one more ready to go. So they decide to take it, and right after I'm gonna respond with a Night Slash. So Greninja with a Water Shuriken is super spammy, I like it a lot. You need always 3 of those Water Shurikens to reach to a Hydro Cannon, while you need 3 for the first and 2 for the second when we're talking about a Night Slash. Sometimes I think that Hydro Cannon is not needed, so that Hydro Pump might do the extra trick with a spicy moveset, but still Hydro Cannon is the better move overall. Just go for it, you are not gonna regret it, and spend an elite TM if you haven't participated on the community day yesterday. So right here we're just gonna go ahead and seal the Rock Slide, and I think that we can do a lot of solid work up against them, winning all those CMPs that we can win for sure. And yeah, they're already at a critical position. I will decide to shield here because right after I might be able to completely farm down. They know that, and now they switch out to their Sunslash. Good news here is that we resist by a lot those Cyclones, which means that we can definitely work around that and still finish them off right on time. As it seems here, we're just gonna go for the Night Slash for the bait. They're gonna fall for it, and right now they are shieldless to my Hydro Cannon, connecting for big damage, and Trevenant can definitely return into the battle. It all depends on what they have at the back, so let's see together, trainers. It is gonna be the Medicham. They cannot reach to Ice Punch right on time. Actually they can, but the CMP is always gonna be won by my Trevenant, and that's gonna be kind of a good game for our team. Into the next one now with a Noctowl up in front, and that battle is gonna take a while to unfold because at the back they might have a Quagsire, but yeah, I remember this one. So here comes now the first move. I'm just gonna take it, whatever it is, just a Stone Edge, and I think what I want to do here is to go for the Undercharge. I do not want to go for a Great, just a nice, and they barely hang on 1 HP because I want them to finish me off as soon as possible, and as it seems they can do that. I do not want them to farm with that Noctowl, and since I have 2 Pokemon on the back that can definitely counter down the Noctowl, I'm just gonna take advantage of that with my Greninja, farming up a little bit extra with 1 Water Shuriken, which can be pretty clutch against this Pokemon. Straight for the Hydro Cannon, about 50%, which means that 1 more can definitely do the trick against Noctowl. So I'm just gonna press it immediately, but this time not the Hydro Cannon. Instead I'm gonna go for the Night Slash, thinking that they might want to shield, but at the back they end up having a Pokemon like Trevenant, like Swampert. I was having the Trevenant Ganeto. This is a double Mad Boy team. So right here the Hydro Cannon has to be respected, and right after I will try to catch 1 move on my Toxapex. Doing so, we can guarantee that they spend that energy for no reason at all, and right after we can outspeed to the next charge attack, just barely enough for the Brine to grab the shield out of play. And as it seems they might want to overfarm, but still they need to get to those Earthquakes, and of course we can win the CMPs, and since we have a lot of energy to spare, at least a double Night Slash, I'm just gonna press it right immediately after 1 Water Shuriken, and right after 1 more Night Slash will definitely seal the deal against this Swampert, grabbing for us a pretty nice win for this video. Into the final one now, and we're using our Toxapex against a Cresselia. So if they have Future Sight, this is gonna be kinda bad for us. However, they do not, I think, if I remember correctly. I think this is the standard Grassant and Moonblast version. We're gonna see in a while, but on the Switch we're met up with a Registeel, and they also managed to catch 1 Sludge Wave, which is pretty bad if you ask me. So over here we're gonna go not down, but still gonna do a lot of damage with a Zap Cannon. Hopefully no debuff from my end, so we can definitely farm down over here. Expecting the Cresselia to return, so I'm just gonna throw immediately here that Shadow Ball before they reach to a Moonblast to finish us off, but as it seems they're gonna shield anyways, and now finish me off with a Grass Knot and a few Psycho Cuts, which is a pretty nice play. They also gained some energy back from that throw. Another Grass Knot is imminent to my Toxapex, but to be honest I don't care much, so as it seems they do not have a move like Future Sight, and right here we can go in now with our Greninja. Knowing that they have a Psycho Cut makes me think that keeping those shields for that Cresselia will be the optimal choice, and since I was counting here the moves, I'm just gonna go with back to back because I have a feeling they have 1 Rock Slide side ready to go. We were absolutely right, and at this point all we have to do is to go ahead, farm down, seal the next move that Cresselia will throw, and I believe that one Night Slash might actually do the trick over here because our attack stat is immense and one Night Slash still does a lot of damage to bulky Pokemon. Water Shuriken to farm down, and that is gonna be a great ending to this video. Thank you for watching, trainers, and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, and of course consider subscribing to my channel if you're new to my content. Doing so, I think that you need to check those two videos that I have prepared for you, and if you do, I will see you all into the next one.